everybody, welcome aboard. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Part 8 now of the build of this beautiful A-20G Havoc. I almost said Boston then. A-20G Havoc from Hong Kong Models. And what a lovely kit it's turning out to be. So part 7, you saw we got all that photo etch attached to the roof of the nose gear bay. And now we've got it all painted in the green. So there's been a few comments about my highlighting and post shading and this, that and the other. So I thought I'd show you what I do and why I do it. There's a reason, there's a method in my madness. And the reason I'm doing it is to just basically take away the, like you can see this here, that is green, okay? That is like an interior green colour, right? And that's that. Now, it's a little on the dark side, I know, that's done on purpose. That's because it's over a black primer and it's also painted on quite thin, so you get the shadowing effect. You can see there's some shadowing going on. So what I want to do is just now pick out in between the panels to make them make everything just pop out and give it a bit of depth. You saw me do it on the cockpit, so well, you didn't see me do it, you saw the end result from the cockpit, so now you're going to see me do it on here. So the first thing I need to do is grab some thinners. I'm going to use levelling thinners. I've got my airbrush here next to me all ready to go, so we'll grab a pipette, and we'll get some thinners in here, just a drop. Okay, so that should be enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix the paint very, very thin. So you notice I've got my dirty mat out as well. That means we're doing painting. So I'm going to mix the paint up very, very thin. So we'll give this a good old shake. I've already given it a shake before I turn the camera on. And we'll just get some out and get it into our airbrush. I'm not going to bother pouring it. I'm just going to put some in here. It's going to be extremely thin, almost like a wash. Okay, so that's that. We can wipe the brush off over there. We get the lid back on the paint. So now we've got in there a very thin mix of interior green. So now I'm just going to add a drop of yellow. This is XF3 Tamiya yellow. I'm just going to put a drop of this in. And there we go, that will lighten the paint very subtly. I'm going to put one more little drop in there. This is why we have it so thin, it's because it'll be so subtle you'll hardly see it. But you'll know it's there. You can't actually say that there is a lighter green panel in there, but it will be so subtle. So I'm just going to wipe that thinners off of the mat there that we spilt. Right. So that's our yellow and green. So we can do a little practice on this one here. This is the, I should use my bigger mat, shouldn't I? This is the front of the, this is the front of the bomb bay. This area here won't really be seen. So we'll just do a little, just check our flow first. Yeah, that's good. What I'm going to do, I've got the pressure down to about 12 psi. And what I'm going to do is just paint in that panel there. And you can see on there already, if I catch it in the light, you can see there's a lighter area in the middle. Okay, and it's very, very subtle. It looks a lot more definite on the camera than it does in real life. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just down in here, is just put some in this back of this wheel bay. That's the back wall of the wheel bay, front wall of the bomb bay. So I'm not going to do the bomb bay at the moment, we'll do all that at the same time. So you can see we've got the different colour in there, and it's very, very subtle. What you do is you can see that what I did originally covered like this area here, then I've come in and then I've come into almost a dot in the centre. So the paint is building up and giving us that lighter area in the centre. You can see it there. And that's what we're trying to do, is just get that overall nice sort of pre-shaded effect. I could have pre-shaded it, but it's better to do it this way in my opinion. So here's going to be a bit more difficult because we've got a lot of areas to do. So we're going to go in between each one of these areas here. Okay, and just basically just highlight those areas. Yeah. So I'll get the rest done and then I'll come back and we'll look at doing some more. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got all the painting done, all the shadings done. I've gone over with a coat of LP24, which is a semi-gloss varnish, and that just seals the paint in, the matte paint, because we want to put a wash on it and we don't want the wash to be sort of sticking to the surface too much. I had to sand this here because, believe it or not, I had a hair come out of the airbrush while I was spraying it. I couldn't believe it, it was like a paintbrush hair, dead straight, about that long. So I just sanded that out. So there we go, so that's all that. We've got the cylinder there painted silver. I've got the cylinder there in like a light grey colour. We've got the pipes in silver. I've picked up that cable in silver as well. And then a little bit of black for that box there. So, and the other thing I've done, I've given it a very quick, very light dry brush. I don't know if you can see the dry brushing on there. But it's had a very light dry brush of XF4. Which is like a zinc chroma yellow colour, and that's just to sort of highlight everything. So now I'm going to give it a wash. Now first of all, I've got a black wash here. This is Modeller's World. I'm not sure if it's available in this country anymore. Let me know if you know where you can get it. I know Premium Hobbies stopped doing it. So basically I'm going to put a black wash in first of all around this cylinder just to sort of really highlight that. And then we've got the other colour here is Industrial Dirt, which is like a very dark grey. It's almost like Starship Filth, the wash that everybody loves. So I can just come in here and I'm just going to touch on there. And I've done this painting on this cylinder after the semi-gloss varnish, so it may well sort of stain the paint, so we have to be a little bit careful. And I'm just going to put some down here to give it the effect of a shadow, because that's a round cylinder but it's sort of moulded as a D shape. If I've been working off camera there, I'm sorry. It's sort of moulded as a D shape, so we need to just give it some shadowing here. Okay. And I'm going to get my good old trusty cotton bud and just remove that excess on there. And that's the beauty of having a clear coat. You can just, if I get it on there and I don't like it, you can see on there, I don't like it, I can just literally rub it off. It all comes off. Whereas if it was matte painted, it would leave a stain. So you can see there, it's sort of, it really sort of makes it come to life. Remember, when you look at this, you're going to be looking at it at that angle. You're not going to see it like that, you're looking like that. So just bear that in mind. And I'm going to put some around these pipes just to sort of make them pop a bit. Just brush some in there and it will rush around into all the edges. That's the whole idea of an oil wash. There we go. So we can just remove any excess from there. There you go, you can see that sort of accentuated that pipe work. So it just makes it sort of pop a bit more. There we go, we'll do the same on this side. Just on that pipe work. What we're trying to do, you see, is if you blacken the corners, it sort of gives it, it makes it look a tube rather than a piece of moulded on plastic, because you've got like a shadow behind it, which is what you'd have if it really was a tube. So there we go. So that's that one done as well. So that's all looking good. I'm also going to put some black on this spring, this landing gear. This is painted in LP72 mica silver. Now I've been looking at pictures. I think the undercarriage was painted silver. Certainly most American aircraft had silver painted undercarriage. So I'm just assuming this was silver. Again, be very careful of restoration shots. I found one with light grey painted undercarriage parts, so not sure why they were painted light grey, but I'm sure they would have been silver in reality. So you can see we've got some on that spring. That just sort of makes that pop. And then we can come in here and just, will you please stick on there? Thank you. You can come in here and just put some around this area where the oleo is. it should brush all the way around. Yeah, it has. Put some there, just to highlight all this. I don't know if you could hear that noise in the background, the fireworks. They really, really piss me off. I can't stand the bloody things. I don't understand. You know, I don't understand why you would want to spend all your money on something that you set light to and chuck up in the air and it goes boom and flash some light. I mean, why would you want to spend your money on that? I just don't get it. Especially in this age of like save the planet and everything, chucking all that sulphur and crap into the sky. It's just like, and I say the same every year. Poor little Jess is bloody beside herself here. But I've got an adaptil on, so that's sort of helping a bit. I think sort of calms them down. I don't understand it. I really do. I never have. I've never been to a fireworks display. I just don't see the point. The only time I've ever seen fireworks and been impressed was when I was flying into, I think it was into Los Angeles, and it was during a celebration of some sort, and I saw fireworks from above, and that was quite interesting to watch them showering down rather than looking up at them. But no, I just don't get it. Anyway, enough whinging. So there we go. That's the nose gear leg highlighted with some wash. So you can see it just sort of makes it all look a bit more busy. It's great, you know, it does a great job. So that's that done. I think I'll put some around these. Just put some around these joints on here as well. There we go. Oh, stop your bloody fireworks, for God's sake. Just rub over that spring just to make the... There we go. So as you can see, it looks a little bit dirty and used, which is the effect we're after. So I'm going to clean this brush off, and then I'm going to get some of this industrial dirt in there. So this will be mixing with the black, so it'll make a mix of the two. Okay, so we're just going to take the excess off, and then we can come in here and just spot it on here. Get it to run around that cylinder. You can put some on there. It's just, all we're trying to do is highlight details, and then we get a cotton bud and just wipe it away from the surface. And there we go. It's just highlighting the detail on there. If it really is stubborn, it doesn't want to come off, get a bit of odourless thinners and just wipe it off. I'll put some on the end of that bottle there as well. So there we go. There's a couple of little details there. We'll just highlight them. There we go. Just take some of that away. Just makes it all look a little bit more busy, that's all. Sounds like I'm losing my voice, doesn't it? Right, so there we go, and then we can do the same on here and just go around everything the same. So I'll see you back in a second. And there we go, all done, and it's had a coat of LP23 flat varnish, which is a Tamiya, and it's not dead flat, it's got a slight sheen to it, so for stuff like this it's really good. I don't like it if you like trying to do a matte finish on a tank or something, because they don't tend to have any sheen at all, but not in the modelling world anyway. But something like this I think should have a slight amount of sheen. Now I haven't flat coated the undercarriage legs because they would be painted an aluminium colour and it would have a slight gloss to it anyway, and I've tried to avoid that cylinder there. So I'm not sure if that cylinder should be silver or what the instructions say silver, so I've done it, but I can't find any pictures of that cylinder anywhere on a non-restored. In fact, I can't find a picture of a restored aircraft. So here we are. You can see we've got the undercarriage bay going together here. So you've got option 1 here, which is wheels up, no undercarriage there at all. Option 2 is having all the undercarriage in place. So as you know here, H26 and H27, I've already glued them in. You can see they're already glued on. Okay. If you haven't seen part 6, go back and have a look. We actually cut this piece is moulded onto the side there, and we cut that off and glued it on, added some bars and stuff to that. So now it's time to assemble, and believe it or not, we don't need any glue. We obviously are going to glue it, but it will go together without any glue. So this one is basically you've got a sloping face on here, and you've got a sloping edge on one end. So that's just going to go into there like that. And as you can see, that fits in there really snugly. And then this is going to go in like so, and we've got to line those holes up with the pins. So that's easier said than done. There we go. So we get that in there, push that in. So that is our bay done. Oh, you also notice I've glued some white plastic card discs onto the outside. That's to stop the undercarriage leg going sideways. So what we can do now is put this one in, and that one's going to go in that way round. So basically that's going to go into there, pull the sides slightly apart and just slot that into that hole. So that's that one in. So the reason I've done this is so that that can go and allow the undercarriage to be put back in. So we're going to put that back like that, and that'll go out of the way. I was going to put a cable between that pulley. There was so much fuss about that pulley when I lost it and everything, but you're never going to see it, so I'm not going to bother. And I don't know where the other end of it goes either. And then we're going to put our main undercarriage leg in, make sure we get it the right way round. That's just going to sit in there like that, and then that will also fold back, so we can actually have our undercarriage stowed away and not have it damaged. But if you want to see what it looks like with it all out, how it's finally going to be, there we go. I thought the fireworks had stopped. It's 8:30 now, and they're still bloody going. It's like they do it in shifts. And then just to finish off to see how it's going to look, that is going to sit in there. This is the front of the undercarriage bay. I think this has got the wing nut wings issue. I think when things are painted they don't want to go together. So it just shows how good it is. And then that's going to sit in there. So you can see now we've got our wheel bay all done. All that work we've done with all the photo edge and everything, you can hardly see it, but it was fun doing it, wasn't it? That's what we do the hobby for. So so that's gone together like that. Now obviously we can't glue these ends on right now because we don't know about their position vertically. We don't know how far apart this is going to be. The fuselage is going to hold all this together in the right place. Remember, we've got those weights to go on there as well. So that one's staying on its own. So now we've done that, we can fold this back, fold that back, fold that back. There's our undercarriage stowed. Now here on the back we've got, this is the battery and the 2 cables going down. I found a picture in my book, and it also has, you've got these 2 cables coming down here, and there's 2 pipes coming off of there. These are probably battery boxes, so I'm imagining they're 2 breathers or something. So they're just going to come out and go to the side once we get everything glued on. So this is going to glue onto here, but there's no, you can see it's kind of flush with the back edge there, I'm guessing. So what we're going to do is remove some paint from here. Get that down. Okay, so that's going to sit like that. Now this is going to go on the back. So I just want to make sure. Okay, so if that comes, yeah, so if we put that battery pack on flush with the back, those pipes are going to go down into the top of that box there. So there's no location for this at all. You just got to guess where it goes and try and get it central. So what we're going to do is put a drop of cement in here and a drop in there, and it should kind of stay there. There we go. And then we can put some here. No one's ever going to see the back of this, so we don't need to be too sparing with the glue. I'm just going to put that edge of those tweezers on the end there, and then I can push the battery up to it to make sure it's actually flush with that back edge. And then we can just quickly check again when we fit that on. We may need to push those cables up a bit, that won't be a problem, just to make it all fit together nicely. You can see how that sort of goes like that. Okie dokie. Very nice indeed. And there we are. There's no wash or anything on this yet because this is part of the Bombay. I'll do that at the same time as the Bombay. It'll also get painted again. I just put some green on there just to, I don't know, because it was there. So what we could do here now is get some extra thin, put it in here, put some in there. Remember, the outside of this isn't painted, so there was no need to start worrying about removing paint and stuff, which I wouldn't normally bother with anyway because the glue eats through the paint in most cases. Okay, so that's together. So that, my friends, is our front undercarriage built. And what they're asking us to do here now is fit the cockpit to that. I think I'm going to leave that until we actually put it in the fuselage, and then if there's any like movement, if I glue this down solid now and I find that it needed to come up slightly at the back or something, I won't be able to do it. But if I do it when we come to fit it all in, get this glued in, and then if the cockpit's sitting a bit low, I can put a bit of plastic card to jack it up. If it's on the slight right angle, I can move the pins. If it's too high, I can sand some meat off. If I glue it on now, I'm stuck with it. So there we are. So that's that. So all in all, it's very pleasing. What we can do now is just tweak those up, get them slightly higher, because I'm sure that's going to come up and sit flush on that back edge. Like that. Okay, so there we go. That's only been about 25 minutes, hasn't it? So we've done the front undercarriage. Obviously I haven't got the wheel in there yet because I wouldn't be able to fold it all the way like this if I did. The real undercarriage, the way it works is that breaks, okay, this folds that way, okay, this spring pulls that leg that way, and then what happens is this breaks its back and goes down, so that pivot there will go down and then the undercarriage will come right down. So don't be worried that what you're seeing here, because what's happening here is that cylinder in there is going to extend and push this arm that way, so it's going to twist that down, and that spring is going to pull that leg back, so it's going to kind of go like that. Alright, and that's where you get the room for the wheel. So don't go fitting the undercarriage and then think you can fold your undercarriage up, because you won't. That will be in the way of the wheel. So there we are. So that's that, guys. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with how that looks. It's very nice. I think what I'm going to do is put some cement in here as well, just to let it capillary around. There we go. That is job done. So there we are. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all for part 8, where we're going to make a start, or we're going to actually make a start. I don't know if I'll do the whole thing or what, but we're going to make a start on the turret. We've got some resin barrels to go in there, although I may use some brass ones in the turret because they'll be quite vulnerable, and I won't be fitting them at this time because I don't want to get snapped off during the build. We've got these photo etch wheels to go on. We've got some photo etch bullet rails to go, but I've got those ones from MDC as well, so I may well use those. But lots and lots of work going on in there. It's going to look very, very nice. I'll have to do some research on colours and stuff. It's probably going to be mainly black. But yeah, so I'll see you back for part 8, and we'll get on with that. We've got photo etch to go in here as well in that set. The same set as we had the cockpit. It's all in there. And then once we've done that, it's big bad Bombay time. So that'll be fun. We've got lots and lots of photo etch to go in there, although unfortunately you're not going to see a lot of it if you want to put these floors in, because looking at my book, it looks like certain options of this aircraft had these floors in, and they had fuel tanks in here, and then they had this type of bomb rack, whereas earlier aircraft, and I think the aircraft that's depicted with this colour scheme, had the bomb racks up the sides. So this is probably, it's correct, there's A-20Gs with this configuration, but I don't think it's correct for this period. So we shall see. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I don't know. I've got the B-17, I've got the B-25, I've got the B-24 from Hobby Boss. I could take mouldings off of those and make bomb racks and have them go up the side if you want to do an accurate depiction. But I just don't know what to do. We shall see, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We won't worry about that just yet. We'll get the turret done. So I'll see you all for part 8. Thank you for looking. Hope you're enjoying what you see, and I hope you're following along and building one as well. And go take a look at the Facebook page. There's lots of information on there as well, and go and join. And that's basically that. So I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching.